Hi again. So, today we have a fairly silly video that I thought might be interesting, which was somewhat inspired by a project to run modern, I think it was modern Gen 2, I'll show you in a minute, modern Gen 2 on a 486. So yeah, apparently it can be done. You have to custom compile it, but because Linux still supports the 486, you can actually do it. So I'm just going to find this thing quickly. Yeah, so this is actually a 2018 thing as well, running, what version? This was Linux 4.14 on the 486. I'll give you a video to this in a link to this in the video description. And it took 11 minutes to boot up. So what I was thinking, as I looked it up, and apparently damn small Linux, if it's running on a 486, takes maybe 5 minutes to boot up. So what I was thinking is, I have a Raspberry Pi, which if you can hear a fan in this video, that'll be what it is. And it's a Model B+, and I wondered if I emulate x86 on it with qemu, and run damn small Linux in that, or whether that's going to be faster than the 486. Because this Pi is, let's see, what speed is this running at? Yeah, so at the moment it's running at 1050 megahertz. And in theory, you need something that's 10 times faster than than the system you're trying to emulate it. So this should be equivalent to like a 105 megahertz. Wow, that's slow. x86 processor, which in theory is quicker than a 486. So I thought I'd have a go. So on here I have damn small Linux, and a command to run qemu with 64 megs of RAM, because that's more than enough. And I'm going to connect to it via VNC so we can record it. So let's see. While this is going, it will take a while, which I'm sure you're not going to be surprised about. See, it's running. And I found I need to bring up the boot options. You can even see it drawing the boot options, and use VGA equals normal to get it to work. So at first it doesn't look like it's doing too badly, and then so this is normally something that takes like half a second, but it's not. The first time I did this I thought it had actually crashed at this point, which is why I have this other terminal up, which is to show you that if you look up here, it is indeed running, but just very slowly. There you go. Welcome to DSL. And now you can see all this stuff happening that you usually probably wouldn't even see. So anyway, this is going to take ages. So as it's doing that, I'd like to talk about some stuff. So I've got, like, the first thing is I've moved all my repositories to GitLab, rather than GitHub, because Microsoft bought GitHub, as you probably know. And I'm not okay with that, so I wanted to move. And GitLab looked good, and it was really easy to move all of the repositories. There's just there's an option where you log into GitHub and authorize GitLab, and then you just select the repositories you want to import, in my case all of them, and it does it, and it took like 10 minutes, and it was all done. And then I could just switch over. This is funny, look. Virtual CPU version 2.5, 0 megahertz. I don't know whether it normally does that, or whether that means it's so slow it is actually running at less than 1. Surely not. No, it can't be. It must just do that. There's no way we'd even have gotten this far, surely. Yeah, so you can see it's sort of doing everything very, very, very slowly. Oh, this isn't actually the right size window, is it? There we go. That's nice. So this is Remina, by the way, that I'm using. And I'm using it because it allows me to... So like if a window's too small and you full screen, say you've got a large virtual desktop that you're looking at, it will also scroll when you stick your mouse to the edge. So I use it when I remote control this machine from my laptop, which has a small monitor on it, comparatively. And it's really good. It's obviously supposed to have finished auto-configuring by this point, which is what I remember it always taking like 5 seconds, but because this is on the Raspberry Pi, it's going to take forever. Interestingly, the CPU... oh, now it is, but the CPU usage wasn't really high for a second. Here we go. So yeah, I moved all my stuff over to GitLab, which is really good. Still on GitHub, but just not updated anymore, so everything links to GitLab now. And the other thing is DD Rescue GUI 2 is about to be released, and that includes things like, I think I mentioned this on my blog post that I just did. Well, let's have a look, because my brain is a sieve. Looking at it now on the other monitor. Okay, so support for Python 3 and WX Python 4, which means nicer look and feel on new platforms. macOS builds use those, which integrates things more nicely. We have native notifications on macOS that go in the control center in the notification list thing, rather than the Cocoa dialog notifications. I used a program called Terminal Notifier to do that, which is released under the MIT license, and that's redistributed with the program. Runs as a normal user by default and escalates privileges when needed, so better security. The other things that are interesting, so better documentation, update checking, although I've tried to make it not too pestery. General stability and performance improvement, sorts of other stuff as well. Too much to count, really. Too many things to count. Too many things to list, really. But it's all really good stuff. And I'm very excited to nearly have it out now, because I've been wanting to push these changes to people forever, it feels like. Oh, come on, this is taking so long. I first did this probably like 4 months ago, but because I had an exam coming up in the beginning of this month, June, I put this on the back foot. Finally. See, we've been doing this for like... how long have we been doing this? How long have I been recording this? Okay. 8 minutes. Oh, come on, I'm sure it's not faster than... Okay, well, it hasn't been running the whole time. I think it's nearly done now, though, because it doesn't really tell you what it's doing. I did do this before, and I thought it was quicker than this. Oh well. Well, I'll just natter until it's ready, and then we can see how usable it is. Yeah, probably not very. I do have an actual real post and real videos coming soon, by the way, in case you're concerned that I've run out of proper ideas. But in case you're concerned that I've run out of ideas to the extent that I have to do rubbish like this now, but actually I just thought it was funny. So yeah, actually, while that boots up, let's have a look at this 486 thing quickly. There'll be a link in the video and in the video description and in the post, but here we go. So it's called Make the 486 Great Again, and somebody actually did this, and it looks so old. But as you can see, I'll zoom in for you so you can see it more easily. Someone did actually get it running on an AM5X86 Authentic AMD. I thought this was a 486. Maybe, oh no, i480, I don't know. Either way, it doesn't really matter whether it's a 486 or a Pentium. No, it's a 486. Well, not, because it's really old. And this is how long it took to do stuff. So it took 2 minutes to clone I think it was a Hello World repository. But he could play WAV on it. Damn small Linux on the same piece. Oh, this must be where I heard it. Oh, maybe not. Yeah, so it was Gen 2, which, from what I remember, he had to cross-compile on his laptop. I'm always amazed by how these look. He had to cross-compile on his laptop for this. Yeah, 2012 laptop. And use a CF card reader to get it across. CF? Compact Flash. So, wow. I can't believe anyone bothered doing this. So basically, what this is... Oh no. Let's try that. It doesn't normally do this. Let's go for the little one, because it might actually handle that. And rubbish colour depth. Yeah, it's not bother. I don't think I've ever seen it do this, which is not very encouraging. Interestingly, that wasn't too unresponsive just then. So this suggests to me that the X server isn't going to start. What did I do that's making it ask me all this stuff? It normally just boots straight up. It's starting. It's doing something. Didn't look very promising there. I didn't see what it said though. Please work. Okay, let's resize this window. That's deliberately a really tiny desktop. Okay, so the mouse pointer isn't moving. But according to Top, it's still hogging all the CPU power, so it will eventually load something, hopefully. I really hope it does, because we've been waiting for long enough. If it doesn't, then well, I might upload this anyway, just because I can show you that it doesn't work, but I'm pretty sure it worked. I can see things happening. Wow. Apparently it's only using 13 megabytes of RAM. I'm pretty sure this is slower than wow, okay, maybe it will work. This is slower than it was on a 486. Not that I ever had one, but I'm pretty sure a 486 is a lot quicker than this. It's struggling to even draw that thing. 9 minutes 49 seconds. Yeah, so I remember it taking about 10 minutes to boot up. It'll be a bit longer this time because it was probably waiting for me to answer that X server stuff. Okay, the time is... Is it right? I didn't think the time was right. Date. What's off by? It's just daylight time saving. It's mostly right. So it is loading Dillo, which is a fairly rubbish web browser from what I remember. It's probably not going to load any web pages because I don't think I gave it network access. It's loading a local file. This is the slowest thing ever. I was using a Pentium 3 until around 2010, and that was blisteringly fast compared to this. maybe not two, maybe it was 2008, but my sister was using a Pentium 3 slower one until 2012 and still put up with running modern Linux on it. Ish. Well, it was Ubuntu 12, I think. But yeah, you could do it. Wasn't pretty though. Oh come on, this is ridiculous. And why won't you move the mouse? I'm sure the mouse moved before. I'm surprised it actually kind of did load then. Oh, please, are you going to move the mouse now? Oh. Is it not going to work now? Okay, well, I can't really be bothered to record this video again, and I'm sure, like, if you're still watching this, you've fallen asleep by this point, waiting for it to start anyway. But essentially, it was actually kind of usable. I could move the mouse around and click on things, and it responded, sort of, when it was working, that is. So, yeah. I mean, if I opened anything, it would take about 1.5 minutes to actually open it. But it did work. Yeah, I'll record this again. I don't know why this isn't working. Goodbye. Okay, so what I'm going to do is, rather than record all of this again, I'm just going to start it up again, and this time tell it I'm using a PS2 mouse, which is what qemu was set to by default, and then I'll join you when it's started. Okay, so we've gotten back to this stage again. So seeing as, see, this is actually, like, not terrible. So we'll go with X visa. No. Hopefully this will work now. Okay, fine, let's say yes. 640 by 480. See, this is why it makes me think it won't be too bad, because just doing things like, just doing things like this is not too terrible. What's it doing now? I thought it was going to ask me another question. Here we go. I'm actually on a UK keyboard, but US is close enough. Sorry about the road noise. Okay, so I'm going to pause it again, we'll come back when it's booted the rest of the way up, and hopefully the mouse will be working. If it's not, I'm not going to try again, because it's going to take too long. Look, the mouse is working! I mean, it's completely misaligned, but let's full screen it. That doesn't quite fix the problem, but it's better. See, it's actually responding when I move the mouse. Okay, so... okay, I'm going to quit this terminal to make it a bit quicker, because then it has less to do, so that might make some kind of discernible difference. Bring it up. I might disable mouse integration or something to that effect. Yeah, whatever. Okay. I'll get back in the old mode. Sort out the window size. There we go. Did it not work in full screen any better than this? Not really. A little bit. Here's the trick. Push it into the corner and then it's synced, sort of. Okay. CPU usage, 103%. Did you see that? That's just nonsense. Oh, I guess it was just faster than it expected to be for some particular thing. So we're using 14 megs of RAM. You can see it drawing the desktop icons. Yeah, so now I can show you. Oh, I'm glad I can show you. I was worrying this wasn't going to work. So we have got this weird multiple mouse pointer thing going on here. But you see it's actually like, when you move the mouse it does actually respond, so it's not as bad as you might think. If you can put up with it taking 10 minutes to start, that is. Okay. So I'm going to see if I can close Dillo rather than wait for it to open. Okay. I guess I should sort of expect it to do that though. Well, it will either load or close it soon. Didn't take that long to load it last time. But you can see in the background the system monitor is still refreshing, so it is still running. Come on. This video is 21 minutes long. I can't believe this is taking this long. Something's happened. There we go. Right, okay. So in a minute we should see our CPU usage drop, hopefully. Is it idling at 100% CPU usage? It might be idling at 100% CPU usage. Okay. Oh no, the RAM usage is going down. I'm just going to let it finish what it's doing before I try and do anything else. Like opening a thing or using it. Okay, I'm running out of patience now. Let's look at the DSL. Oh, here we go. 48%, 94%, okay, whatever. So you can see the menus are actually like almost responsive. Oh god, it's so slow. Can we play Minesweeper? I'm pretty sure the 486 would be quicker than this. Oh, that didn't take as long to open as I expected. Oh, this is ridiculous. I can see it drawing the mines. Oh my god. This is the slowest thing ever. At least it's running. Now the question is, can I actually play the game? That sped up a bit at the end. Right. Okay. So this has been my general experience with it. Once something is open, it's actually sort of okay. Ish. That was quite slow. And this is quite slow. But it is playable. Okay, I'm not waiting for that again. Just close. Ugh. Never do this. This is agony. Sort of used to my virtual machines being somewhat quicker than this. I guess it has to finish drawing the things before it will let me close it now. Yep. Okay, so can I open the file manager? maybe not. If it just opened Minesweeper, surely the file manager will be able to open that. So I've been running for 14 minutes and, oh here we go, and 10 seconds. And I have so far completely failed to do anything even remotely helpful. I'm not sure why this is surprising. Okay, so file manager has opened. And now it can go. My CPU load wasn't 100% for a second though. And now it's 101%. Okay, so I'm wondering if I bring a terminal up. Saw my mouse pointer out. There we go. If I bring a terminal up, how long it takes to respond to basic commands. I mean, this is just a joke to me. This is like not a real thing, but it's just funny. Okay, that wasn't too bad, actually. Still haven't got the prompt though. Oh, it's got window translucency. I see. Okay. So if I run... Okay, that's not terrible. ls. pf. That's hilarious. Free. It's almost like you can see it drawing the... You can see it printing the lines. It's really that slow. Oh, maybe I do have internet connectivity. Oh. Oh, okay, that's interesting. Am I not root? Why do I need to be root? Well, something's happening. Well, I got the IP. Probably just taking too long to respond, I think. Yeah, it's just not responding quickly enough to get the packets, I imagine. So, final joke. Can we open Firefox? I bet I'll be regretting trying this in about 2 seconds. Okay, so it's now opening. If anyone is still watching this video at this point, then I admire your patience. I don't really know why I'm doing this, I thought it would be fun. Annoying is probably closer to the truth. But I do have my cup of tea. Come to think of it, I don't even know if Firefox will run on this screen resolution. Time to find out. It's a good thing I have this monitor here, because otherwise I wouldn't think it was doing anything at all. The number of processors is slowly going up, as is the RAM usage. This was a stupid idea. I'm going to be sat here forever. But I think if someone has the patience to build all of Gen 2 for a 486 system and actually take the time to get it working, they have the patience to run a pre-built small Linux image in a Raspberry Pi. I did do this before a long time ago, I think I said. But yeah. Okay, maybe it's not opened. Maybe it doesn't have enough memory. Because I think this is our idle speed of mostly utilised processor. Okay, well, I've had enough. And I bet you have as well. So, let's quit. Please. Yes. I'm not even going to try running more than one thing at the same time. Yeah, let's get rid of that. Shut down. Let's see how long this takes. I don't remember this bit taking too long. Being quicker than I thought. I mean, this is probably more suited to running some kind of command line Linux. Or preferably just not attempting it. There are people who've ran Windows 95 inside qemu on this. Or qemu, or however you're supposed to say it. I can't imagine that's very fun either. On a newer Pi it might be better, but I really doubt it. Because you'd still only be able to use one CPU core for Windows 95 anyway. That's trying. I shouldn't have tried to open Firefox, should I? Why did I do that? That was silly. This whole thing is silly though. Okay, right. I'm really had enough of this now. So I'm going to go on to the next video, the screen capture now. I'm going to do a couple of them in a go, and maybe I'll stick a note in the video description of how long this took to shut down, because I've had enough of waiting now. So okay, so DD Rescue GUI is about to come out, and GitLab stuff. All my stuff is now on GitLab. And there'll be something's happening, and there'll be some, oh, okay, maybe we will watch it. And I have some other news coming out soon too, more blog posts, like I have the PXE boot stuff happening soon. And what else do I have? Some Windows subsystem for Linux stuff, and Sigwin I wanted to do some videos on, and X11 VNC stuff, because that's what I use to remotely control my desktop. See, this is the interesting thing. Shutting down isn't too bad. No, it's done. So it only took like... Okay, fine. It only took like 2 minutes to shut down. That's still far too long. Anyway, see you next time.